Hi, everyone. Welcome to GCG 101. This is the first of two webinars that we will produce, and this webinar is going to focus on the basics of the Great Community Give, including your organization's profile creation, how to communicate this event with your donor base, some prize information, and also important dates to keep in mind. For those who I haven't met yet, my name is Kelsey Gerber, and I am the program manager here at the Community Foundation of Harrisonburg and Rockingham County. I've been with the foundation for around a year and a half now, but I've been in my program manager role since July of 2025. So this is my first year helping our Director of Programs and Marketing, Lauren, manage this event, which I'm really excited about. I just wanted to give a little information about the Community Foundation. So our mission is to make it easy to give back to the community we all love, that being Harrisonburg and Rockingham County. We do this in a variety of different ways, and it's all revolved around charitable giving and philanthropy. So some examples of what we do is managing donor advised and other types of charitable funds. We help manage estate gifts, charitable estate gifts that come in. We have scholarship funds for local students. We help charitably inclined people give gifts through their IRA or their QCD. We run Dolly Parton's Imagination Library for Harrisonburg and Rockingham County children under the age of 5. We are also offering support, networking opportunities, and professional development to nonprofit leaders in the area, and of course, the Great Community Give. So the Great Community Give has been around since 2018. So this year will be our 9th annual Great Community Give, which is really exciting. And the Community Foundation has been supporting this event financially through staffing and managing staff time. And these staff are managing this event from the very start to the very end of it, as well as purchasing the GiveGab license and their web support. GiveGab is the giving platform that we use for the Great Community Give. So this is a line item in our budget every year, and it's something that we as a whole staff and board look forward to and we're really passionate about. And we do this because we feel like it directly aligns with our mission of making charitable giving easy, especially for donors and nonprofits and just the larger Harrisonburg Rockingham community in general. So what is the Great Community Give? I describe the Great Community Give as a sunrise to sunset online giving day for the community to support all of their favorite nonprofits and causes in just a few clicks. There aren't any opportunities actually where you're able to do that in one day and so quickly do that. So when I say sunrise to sunset, it is Great Community Give starts at 6 a.m. and it ends at 8 p.m. So on April 22nd, this year's Great Community Give Day, anytime the sun is up, donors are encouraged to vote or encouraged to give. This is a primarily online giving day for the community. I say primarily because during early giving, there are opportunities to give through cash and check, giving offline, which I will talk about later. But like I said, this is a really unique opportunity for local nonprofits and for donors who are charitably inclined, because Great Community Give just makes it so easy for donors to give on this specific day. I did want to highlight that this is also a great opportunity for exposure for nonprofit organizations because it's all there in one site. So it's great for donors to learn about your organization, the cause that you're supporting, and the needs that you have. And this is just a great tool to help grow your donor base. You may have seen this graphic before. This is just gives a little information about what we have done collectively over the past 8 years since the establishment of the Great Community Give. So in total, we reached a really big benchmark last year during last year's Great Community Give of reaching that 10 million mark. And by 8 p.m. of last year's Great Community Give, the this event has raised over $11 million for over 150 local nonprofits. So it's a really big impact over the past 8 years, and it just keeps growing, which we're really excited about and looking forward to. I wanted to give some stats from last year's GCG. The Great Community Give last year raised $2,212,649, which that number in itself is incredible, but thinking about the impact that that's making for the 147 nonprofits that participated, and just thinking about all of those dollars going straight back to our community and serving all of us directly or indirectly is really incredible and something that we all should be very proud of. I wanted to also highlight the amazing sponsors that we had. We had 45 businesses or individuals who gave their own money that went towards the prize pool of the leaderboard prize, the power hours, and the golden ticket prize money. 100% of the money that they gave, which was over $76,000, that all went straight to the prize pool and straight to nonprofits, which was really incredible. Here are some of our goals for 2026 that we're excited to share about. You'll notice the first one is a really big and exciting one. The Great Community Gives goal is to raise $2.5 million this year. And we decided this after looking at the financial goals from the registration form of all of the registered nonprofits this year. And the collective goal was well over 2.5 million. So rather than this being an individual goal that we as the Great Community Give are trying to reach, we see this as a team goal that all of the nonprofits that are participating this year, their goal is over 2.5, and we want to help. Our goal is always to have the nonprofits reach their goal. So we see this as a team goal, and we're all playing on the same team. And so we are really hopeful and excited to see what this year will bring. And we are hoping that that will bring us to the 2.5 million mark. I also wanted to touch on our peer-to-peer fundraiser goal. This is a big effort that we're pushing this year because we've seen a lot of success with peer-to-peer fundraisers over the past few years. So we would like to see 200 active peer-to-peer fundraisers across all of the nonprofits. So that's really exciting, and I will touch on that a little bit more in a few more slides. I wanted to start by probably a big reason why you might be listening to this webinar is talking about your organization's profile. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to the GCG site, and I'm going to show some example pages and also focus on that search feature so you know what that looks like. Okay, I think we're there. So this is, I'm sure this looks very familiar to you. This is our GCG homepage, and this search bar is how donors are going to find your organization. So donors can do this, one, by looking at your organization specifically if they know that they want to give to you. So I'm going to look at Anna Sierra, for example, because I saw that their page looked like it was completed for this year. So you'll see here, the first thing you're greeted with are the photos of the adorable cats and dogs that they're serving, because Anna Sierra is a veterinary clinic here in Harrisonburg. So I'm going to scroll down here. You'll see their logo here, the title, the name of their organization, and then you'll see these donation levels here. This is a really awesome tool to use for donors. It just makes it that much easier for them to not even have to think about how much to give, but just to click a button and they're all set to go with that. One thing I did want to point out is the importance of the language in these descriptions. So you'll see here, $10 can give a free vaccine to protect pets from deadly diseases. $50 can supply life-saving medication for sick hospitalized pets. This language using can or this money could go to this, that's key, because unless it is otherwise stated somewhere on your page, unless it is explicitly stated somewhere on your page, it is assumed, and the donor is safe to assume that the funds are all unrestricted. So we really want to focus these donation levels on being examples of what these funds could go to, and not these funds are set to go to feeding a hungry pet for 3 months. So like I said, this important of saying something can, or saying something could, or saying that this is an example of what $100 could go to, those are really key. That's a key language to have there. So I wanted to point those out. Again, that's an awesome tool to use for donors. You'll see that we're scrolling down to the Our Story spot, which is where Anacira and your organization will have their mission. You'll see they included a video. We have some graphics here, some good statistics, just really describing what Anacira does, what their mission is, and that's something that your page will look like as well. So I just wanted to show an example of what your page or what a page looks like. I'm going back to the home page now, and I'm going to show another example, and I'm using our page for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library that we do. So you'll see, again, we did the cover photo to be something associated with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. You'll see that we have the donation levels here. This is just, instead of using the can or the could or the example, that language in these boxes here, you'll see it just says donate to Dolly Parton's Imagination Library Endowment on all of these. And that's, again, you could do that too with your page, just using it as very generic and not saying that it's specifically meant for something. So again, you'll see here, we include videos, graphics, anything to make it appealing. Using headers like this grabs the donor's attention. Yeah, anything that will make sense for your organization. Testimonials, statistics are great. Anything like that is awesome to include to catch someone's eye. I did want to point out this search feature. People can search right here on the home page, or they can click this magnifying glass and it'll take them here. These are completely random. We don't choose who goes here. I think it changes every time as well. But the search, like I said, you can search up specifically by organization, or you can filter or search by a cause. So you'll see some examples of causes here, and you're able to select your causes on your home page. I think this is one of the more important things to do for your profile, because at the very least, this gives some exposure for those donors who know that they're super interested in something like the arts, but they're not sure what organizations are out there. Like if I look up culture, we'll see a lot of organizations who fall into that culture category, or that's part of their issue area is culture. So, and there's so many different options here. I think you can pick up to 3 of what they can fall in. And again, just being on this search page is super important just for your organization to gain some exposure from this. I think that's about all I wanted to share on that front. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. If you are making your page and you have questions, you are welcome to send me an email and ask me to look at your page, especially if you have questions about the donation levels. I'm not sure if I said this right, or is this clear enough that it's unrestricted. I'm happy to look at that and let you know if something needs to get changed. So this should look somewhat familiar if you've logged on to your GiveGab homepage, which I assume you have. The graphic is a little outdated, but the general information is the same here. The add your organization's info, that's where you're going to go to add your causes if you haven't found that already, your issue areas. Then the add your story is going to be the place where you put the bulk of your information, the add donation levels. We recommend 3 to 5 donation levels. Any more than 5 can be a little overwhelming for the donor, and having at least 3 there gives some options, which is good. So you'll see that these are checked off. When they're checked off, you'll know that you're good to go and you at least have some information in there, which is important. And then you'll notice when you scroll down on that page, tabs that look like this. A couple of things I wanted to point out. You will probably use the Add Offline Donation tab when you are receiving checks or cash from early giving. So keep that one in mind. And then this Share Your Page, this is your unique link to your organization's GCG profile page. You will want to use this link in your newsletters, in your social media posts, so that way folks can directly go to your page to donate instead of having to navigate through the whole GCG site. So I just wanted to share that just so you knew that that was an option, just to copy it right there. Now I'm going to focus more on the communications side of things. So just to share a little bit about what we do to promote the Great Community Give, this is a big advertising push that we are pushing really from now until the event. I'm sure you have probably maybe heard us on the radio or knew that we did radio shows once a month, and that's what our radio shows are going to revolve around the Great Community Give from February to April and a debrief in May. So a good solid chunk of time there. We offer PSAs and are promoting those through the radio. Something new that we're doing this year that we're really excited about is this physical mailer idea, doing a Great Community Give postcard, and it's expected to hit 20,000 homes. So we're really interested. This is something brand new we're doing, so we're really interested in seeing how this works for us. And we're hoping to see an increase in donors. And we're doing this just so that way donors know how accessible giving is and how easy it is to give back to your community. Focusing a little bit about what exactly is important to communicate and how you can communicate. Here on the right-hand side, you'll see some ideas. I'm sure you as an organization have ideas and communication strategies that you found do work best for you. Here's just some more ideas and examples on how you can communicate these things with your donor base. Some really important things to talk about would especially be the key dates. So communicating early giving, that being April 7th through the 21st, and then obviously the day of, people will want to know that date being April 22nd. One other portion of this I wanted to talk about, we're inviting or sharing about a match or challenge. We have found that an organization that has a match has been very successful, and I have some statistics from last year that show just how successful this is. So we have a stat here that says organizations using matches or challenges raised an average of $38,000. Those who did not use a match or challenge raised an average of $9,000. So that is a very large difference. And we found that about 510 more donations were made to support a match or challenge this year, which is huge. So if you know you have a match already, this is super important to share. Having any sort of goal or a challenge to say you are trying to reach a certain amount is really encouraging for donors. Or maybe this sparks an idea, sharing that you invite these matches or challenges. Just sharing that that's an option for one of your donors might also spark some interest in them too. So again, those are a couple of things that we have found successful and would be important for you to add in your communication strategies. I talked about this earlier, but another approach for fundraising that's a little bit unique to the Great Community Give is peer-to-peer fundraising. We have found that this is also a very effective and successful strategy for organizations that take part in the peer-to-peer fundraisers. These peer-to-peer fundraisers are board members or volunteers, maybe it's friends or family of staff that really are behind and support the organization's mission. Really anybody that maybe it's an excited donor, it's anybody that you think will represent your organization well and has a passion for it like you do. These are great fundraisers to have and great fundraisers to use for the Great Community Give. We have some stats here that say the number of peer-to-peer fundraisers grew by 79% from the previous year. So this is becoming a more popular way to give. We found that there was a 108% increase in the number of donors giving to peer-to-peer fundraisers, which is incredible. And organizations that participated with these peer-to-peer fundraisers raised an average of $29,000. And organizations that did not have fundraisers raised around $11,000. So again, there's a big gap there, just showing that this is a very effective strategy and something to consider as you're starting to plan about your fundraising strategies for Great Community Give. Okay, now this is sort of a fun part to talk about the donations coming in as well as the prizes. So I briefly brought up early giving. This is really just the time for donors who maybe know they're not available to give on the 22nd, or they want to get their giving done as early as possible. It could be for those who don't like to give online or aren't super familiar with online giving. This is the time for donors to give offline through cash or check, and donations will be available to give through the Great Community Give site during that 2-week time as well. This will start first thing April the 7th, and it will end, we say the 21st, but it will really end the 22nd right before Great Community Give starts at 6 a.m. So this is just some more information about early giving on this slide here you can read through. I did want to mention the website won't display these gifts until the Great Community Give starts at 6 a.m. on the 22nd. So don't panic if you're not seeing that come through yet on your site. There is a reason for that. And I did also want to note that the gifts, cash and check, should be delivered straight to your nonprofit, not to the community foundation. So if donors are wondering where to send it, make sure you tell them it should go straight to you all for you all to log it. We do not have the capability to log these offline gifts for each individual nonprofit. And so if we get these cash or checks, we will try our best to get that to you. But that is a crazy 2 weeks for us. And so it may not get to you until after the Great Community Give when it couldn't be counted. So make sure to keep that in mind when trying to get some early donations from that. Just wanted to briefly show you, this may look familiar. Again, this is sort of an outdated graphic, but for the offline donations here on the right-hand side, just be prepared to have that information ready when you're entering those offline gifts. So the name of the donor, the donation amount, all of that stuff. This just sort of walks you through what's going to be asked when entering that in, and that'll be on the towards the bottom of the homepage of your admin dashboard. So getting into prizes now. We will be announcing in February the size categories as well as the prize schedule. So what is happening when. For the size categories, if you're unfamiliar with this, once the registration period has closed, we sort all of the participating nonprofits based on their revenues that were recorded in their most recently filed 990, or if you don't file a 990, the most recently completed fiscal year and stated in your financial document. So this happens because we don't want small, brand new organizations having to compete against highly established, medium, larger organizations. We don't really think that that's fair. And so we will sort these participating organizations and then hopefully find a natural break between the size categories and make sure that they're all relatively even. So there's not only a couple in one bucket and 50 in another bucket. So trying to make it as even and fair as possible on that front. So everyone is competitive for a prize. I just wanted to go over some of the prizes that are offered. So it's not just a giving day, but all nonprofits are eligible who are participating they could win a leaderboard or a power hour or a golden ticket prize. So just a little bit of information about these. The leaderboard prize, this is the cumulative amount of the dollars raised from the whole entire giving period or the most amount of unique donors. And when we say unique donors, they're identified through their email address. So donors are welcome and encouraged to give multiple times throughout the day, but they will only count once, because that's what's fair. So we have first and second place for small, medium, and large for most dollars raised, and we have first and second place for small, medium, large in the most unique donors. So that is 12 different prize eligibility for nonprofits who are participating, which is very exciting. And we won't be able to calculate that until after the Great Community Give ends. So it's always a really fun and exciting time for that. The offline donations will count towards the leaderboard prize because that includes all of the donations that you have gotten through that giving period. For the power hours, these are really exciting. Each hour, organizations are eligible and encouraged to compete for either the most dollars raised in that hour or the most unique donors in that hour. Again, the prize schedule will be announced in February of what category is happening in what hour. So each size category is eligible. So each hour there are 3 prizes giving out, one for small, one for medium, and one for large. And this is open. Each organization could win only one power hour. So once you win a power hour, you cannot keep winning power hours. One thing to note and that we've gotten questions about in the past, power hour prizes, if you win a power hour at 2 p.m., you cannot then count that prize money towards your overall total. So just keep that in mind as you're going through. So that's exciting. And again, more to come on that in February. We also have golden tickets. This one is really fun because it's a completely random drawing for any organization that has had a donation during that golden ticket hour. This is especially beneficial for organizations who maybe haven't won a power hour yet, or maybe in the past they haven't won a power hour, because again, it's a completely random drawing. Again, same rules apply. This golden ticket does not go towards your organization's total, and it's also only one golden ticket per organization there. And that will where those golden tickets fall in the schedule will be announced next month in February. I really wanted to highlight the sponsors from last year. We would not be able to do the leaderboard or the power hour or the golden tickets without the support of local businesses and local individuals who want to give to the Great Community Give and the prize pool. So we're super grateful for them, and they've really helped make this event what it is today. And so we're still working on sponsorships, and they're rolling in, and it's really exciting to see that come in. So more to come on the 2026 sponsors, but you'll probably see a lot of these again, and you may see some new ones come in this year too, which is exciting. So super grateful for them. Shout out to them. A couple of things I wanted to hit to pay attention to and to be aware of before the day of. Please read your emails that are either coming from myself or Lauren or GiveGab. Lauren in particular will probably be the one sending, I believe, monthly emails to you, and she doesn't want to blow up your inbox sending multiple emails a week. So she's trying to make these emails content heavy. So please read thoroughly through all of them. Let us know if you have questions. But again, please read them and be on the lookout because it contains a lot of important information, especially ones from GiveGab. They may be sending you information, letting you know you need to fix something on your profile, or there's something with your bank verification that needs to get done. So please keep that in mind and do not ignore those. Also, something really important would be having a plan for your communications, whether that be having a content planner for your social media posts and getting those geared up, or having newsletters prepped for GCG information. We've just found that the best you can do is have a plan and things prepped for these communications. I also did want to shout out the GiveGab support. The button looks a little different than last year, so just wanted to bring your attention to that. You can find GiveGab support in the right-hand bottom corner of your screen. It'll be a bluish, purplish question mark. This, you can ask GiveGab anything and about the site at least, and they will be able to respond back with either help or support articles that will help you. If you get really stuck about something at a site, feel free to type, "Can I talk to a real representative?" And they will connect you to a real life person instead of AI. And so that will be helpful as well. Just something to keep in mind, Lauren and I are not IT experts, but the people at GiveGab are. And so we will try, if you reach out to us with questions about the support, we will try to help as best we can, but we're not fluent in that, and GiveGab is. So, and that's also part of what we are paying for is their tech support with this. So, you will get probably a better response and a quicker response going through GiveGab if you have, again, tech support or tech questions about that. I have touched on a lot of these already, but just wanted to sort of itemize some of the strategies I've talked about so far. And I did want to touch on this last one. Don't assume people are tech savvy. This is something that I realized last year. I was in charge of taking the phone calls at the community foundation, and we did get a handful of calls of people not knowing if their donation went through or unsure of how to make a donation. And so the best thing that I did beforehand was making sure that I knew my way around the Great Community Give site. So I was able to assist with troubleshooting. And I also familiarized myself with the FAQs, and we will come out with day of FAQs that will be particularly beneficial when helping donors throughout the Great Community Give. And that blue chat button is also for donors to use as well. So empowering donors to find the answers themselves is also a way to go, and it's also may save you some time because I'm sure you will also be very busy that day as well. So again, don't assume people are tech savvy. Just familiarize with the site as well as the FAQs just to make troubleshooting smoother. Wanted to show these important dates very quickly. The two main ones coming up would be the profile completion and the bank verification. A lot of you may have already touched on this or completed it, which is great, but definitely revisit this sometime before March 15th. That is a pretty hard deadline that we'd like to have everything done by. Keep an eye out for the second webinar, Are You Ready? Which will go over more of the day of things that so like the FAQs, it'll talk about what we're doing that day of, maybe more about the prizes and that sort of thing. So keep an eye out for that in late March. And again, like I said earlier, early giving begins April 7th. So just threw that in there as well. The second webinar, the Are You Ready webinar, will talk more about this. So this is the big day, things to expect for GCG Day. One thing that I do want you to keep in mind for now is identifying someone at your organization that is planning to be available that whole day of the event in the case that your organization wins a prize, which would be super exciting. But if your organization wins a prize, we need to be able to contact you. So please be thinking about someone that has their phone with them, has their email with them, and can be able and available to pick up a call and come to the office to meet the sponsor and take a check presentation photo. So be keeping that in mind as you're going these next couple of months. And also, please plan to visit us sometime on Great Community Give Day, whether you win a prize or just want to come say hi. It's a really exciting day. Last year we had smileys, ice cream out, which was awesome. We had an interactive banner, which was really cool, and we're hoping to have some of those same sort of things this year too. So it's a really fun day. We're excited. After the event, very quickly, again, we'll talk about this in the next webinar, but just so you know, after the event, the money that you raise on Great Community Give Day, that will be coming. That's what the bank verification is for, and that will be deposited to you between 5 and 7 days. So again, that's just sort of for you to know, but I'll talk about that in the next webinar too. Here's just the important dates again, just to really drill that in there. One last time, the profile completion and the bank verification would be the biggest things right now to be thinking of. And that is March 15th. So that is all from me. If you have questions about anything that I touched on in this webinar, if you have questions about the day of Great Community Give Day, please let us know. If you would like me to take a look at your page just to give you the go-ahead, you do not need to, but I'm happy to look at it. Please let me know. My email is there on the top, and Lauren, like I said, our Director of Program and Marketing, her email is there on the bottom. And again, I will give Gab tech support for any questions about the site specifically. So that is all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and we hope to see you soon.